You're listening to the Everything Jewish 10 Minutes at a Time podcast, where you'll learn about every Jewish topic imaginable in about 10 minutes. Quick note before we begin. My voice is not a real voice. I'm an AI-generated one, which means sometimes when I try to pronounce Hebrew words, it sounds like I'm ordering Wi-Fi passwords at a coffee shop. If Teshuvah comes out like tissue what or Tesla Shuva, just laugh, roll with it, and know that somewhere a Hebrew teacher is shaking their head. With that, today's topic is Teshuvah. You've probably heard this word tossed around the high holidays, or maybe in a sermon your parents forced you to sit through. But what does it actually mean? At its simplest, Teshuvah means return or repentance. It's about turning back to the right path when you've wandered off. Think of it like when your GPS yells recalculating because you missed the exit for the third time. Teshuvah is Judaism's spiritual recalculation system, giving you a chance to reset, fix mistakes, and get back on track without throwing out the whole trip. Teshuvah shows up front and center in Jewish life during the high holiday season, especially between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which is called the 10 Days of Awe. Sounds like a superhero movie, right? But instead of capes, the power is reflecting, apologizing, and making things right. The basic idea is that no matter how far off the path you've wandered, the door to return is always open. Even if you've racked up more spiritual parking tickets than you care to admit, Teshuvah is like the divine amnesty program. Maimonides, the famous medieval rabbi and philosopher, laid it out simply. Real Teshuvah means recognizing what you did wrong, regretting it, stopping it, apologizing, and then, when faced with the same situation again, choosing differently. That's the gold standard. But don't panic. Like any workout routine, it's a process. You don't have to hit perfect form on day one. The Jewish tradition believes God is more like a compassionate coach than a heartless referee, always giving you another shot. Now let's talk about what Teshuvah is not. It's not just saying sorry and then doing the same thing again next week. We've all had that friend who apologizes while already planning the repeat offense. Teshuvah isn't about words. It's about real change. Imagine someone constantly spoiling TV shows for you. Saying sorry after every spoiler is meaningless if next week they still blurt out the ending of Stranger Things. Real Teshuvah would be them actually stopping, recognizing it bugs you, and then biting their tongue before spilling a plot twist. Judaism is big on action over lip service. It's less, I'm sorry, bro, and more, here's what I'm doing differently. That's why the sages talk about Teshuvah as a return, because you're not just apologizing to the person you hurt, you're steering yourself back to being the kind of person you actually want to be. And sometimes that means uncomfortable honesty, but it's way better than staying stuck in a loop. Teshuvah is also deeply human. Everyone messes up. Even Moses lost his temper and smashed the tablets. King David messed up big time with Bathsheba. Jonah literally ran away from his assignment. These weren't minor slip-ups, they were headline-making disasters. But in Jewish thought, the point isn't perfection, it's direction. Teshuvah says, yeah, you blew it, but that doesn't mean you're done. The process is like binge-watching your mistakes, cringing, and then deciding you don't want to keep repeating that season. There's even a radical teaching in the Talmud that says if someone does Teshuvah out of love, their past sins can actually transform into merits. Think about that. Your worst mess-ups can become your greatest teachers. It's like turning a string of bad Yelp reviews into your personal growth manual. You may not erase the fact that it happened, but you can repurpose the lesson so it shapes you into a better version of yourself. That's Teshuvah in action. And it's a very empowering idea. Now, Teshuvah isn't just between you and God. If you wronged another person, Judaism says you've got to make it right with them directly before Yom Kippur rolls around. You can't just say, sorry, God, I'll do better, while ignoring the friend you hurt. That would be like trying to clear your credit card debt by calling the pizza place instead of the bank. Wrong address. The Rambam, our medieval guide, says Yom Kippur wipes away sins between you and God, but human-to-human wrongs require face-to-face apologies, restitution, and genuine repair. That's awkward, sure, but it's also powerful. Think about how different the world would be if people actually picked up the phone and said, hey, I messed up and I want to fix it, instead of just ghosting. Judaism is way ahead of the curve on accountability culture.
Whether you're into unsolved mysteries, solved mysteries, or creating your own mysteries, Amazon Music's got millions of podcast episodes waiting. Just download the Amazon Music app and start listening to your favorite podcasts ad-free, included with Prime.
Teshuvah is about relationships between you and yourself, you and God, and you and other people. All three need attention if you want to feel whole and move forward cleanly. Let's zoom in on the emotional side. Teshuvah isn't meant to be a guilt marathon where you whip yourself endlessly. Jews have enough guilt already. Thank you very much. The idea isn't to wallow, but to transform. Picture guilt as that annoying notification bubble on your phone that won't go away. Teshuvah is like finally opening the app, clearing the messages, and updating the software. Relief, not torture. Jewish thinkers often stress the joy of Teshuvah, the sense of being lighter, freer, once you've made amends. There's even a concept that the gates of Teshuvah are always open. Unlike Costco, there are no closing hours, no blackout days. You don't need a membership card. The opportunity to return, to repair, to reset is available 24/7. That's actually a radical view compared to other religious traditions that might say your window of forgiveness is limited. In Judaism, the spiritual door is always propped open, waiting for you to walk back in whenever you're ready. In modern life, Teshuvah still applies, even if our mistakes look different than in ancient times. Maybe you lost your temper on social media, typed something nasty, and regretted it 5 seconds later. Maybe you ignored a friend's call because you were binge-watching reality TV and then forgot to call back. Maybe you polished off someone else's leftover cheesecake without asking. Teshuvah works for all of it. Step 1. Realize you did something wrong. Step 2. Admit it, ideally to the person affected. Step 3. Commit to doing better. And step 4, when Netflix asks if you're still watching, maybe take that as a cue to actually text your friend back. The point is, Teshuvah is timeless. It's not some dusty ritual. It's a practical framework for being less of a jerk and more of a mensch every single day. In a world full of cancel culture and finger-pointing, Teshuvah offers an alternative: growth, accountability, and second chances. Culturally, Teshuvah has inspired all kinds of art, music, and storytelling. Think about redemption arcs in movies. Darth Vader turning back to save his son, or Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender, abandoning his obsession with honor to choose friendship. Those are Hollywood versions of Teshuvah, characters realizing their mistakes, feeling regret, and actively choosing a different path. It resonates so deeply because it's universal. Everyone loves a comeback story. Jewish tradition says the same thing. The most righteous person isn't the one who never stumbles, but the one who falls, learns, and gets back up. That's why Teshuvah is so central. It gives us language and structure for something we all need: hope that mistakes don't define us forever. Even when life feels like one long blooper reel, Teshuvah reminds us we can still edit the script, and that's way more uplifting than pretending we never make errors in the first place. Of course, Teshuvah isn't always easy. It requires courage to admit you messed up, humility to apologize, and discipline to change. It's much easier to just shrug and blame your Wi-Fi or your horoscope. But the Jewish tradition insists that Teshuvah is worth it because it restores relationships and helps you become your best self. There's also something deeply democratic about it. Everyone can do Teshuvah. You don't need fancy training, a rabbi's stamp of approval, or a miracle. You just need honesty, effort, and a willingness to try again. The sages even said that Teshuvah was created before the world itself, like it was baked into the universe's operating system. In other words, being human comes with a built-in reset button. Sure, it's hard to press sometimes, but once you do, it's like rebooting your computer after weeks of sluggish performance. Suddenly things run smoother, and you wonder why you didn't do it sooner. That's the gift of Teshuvah. So to wrap up, Teshuvah is Judaism's way of saying, you're not stuck. You can return. You can fix it. Whether it's between you and God, you and another person, or you and your own conscience, the process is always available. Recognize the mistake, feel the regrets, and commit to better. Simple in theory, challenging in practice, but profoundly rewarding when done sincerely. And the best part? Judaism says it's never too late. You don't have to wait for the high holidays. You don't need an official ceremony. You can start today, right now, with one step in the right direction. That's Teshuvah, the Jewish tradition of return, renewal, and hope. Thanks for listening to the Everything Jewish 10 Minutes at a Time podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please forward it to a friend who might like it too, or leave a positive review so others can find the podcast. Until next time, keep learning, keep laughing, and keep recalculating your spiritual GPS.
We need to keep kids safe online, but some special interests are sending policymakers in the wrong direction, pushing the so-called App Store Accountability Act, demanding government ID from all users just to download an app, replacing parents' judgment with government mandates. It doesn't even stand up in court. A better bipartisan bill, the Parents Over Platforms Act, would put parents in the driver's seat, empowering parents and businesses to keep kids safe without drowning all of us in red tape. Tell Congress to get it done right and put parents over platforms.
Paid for by ACT, the App Association.